Chapter 2031. Unexpected surprise 4. Although the girl looked like she was out of the way, she was very protective of this stupid big sister. Don't you see these person use emperor-grade pills as sugar beans? Such generosity. In his memory, she was first person ah. Therefore, Lu Fongming decided that a wise man submits to circumstances. So, he simply walked toward Big Sister Wei with a flattering attitude. Big sister, you kick, you kick. How could Big Sister Wei be polite to him? Just quickly kick him in his stomach. Buta? Eh? Poor Big Sister Wei. Why don't you see, under your other foot was a rotten tree stump. In short, poor Sister Wei kicked Lu Fongming with one foot, and another foot stepped on the rotten tree stump, and then a gravity, but fell down hard. Then, instead of kicking Lu Fongming a meter away, Big Sister Wei fell and sat in the hole she had smashed herself. Her feet were facing the sky. She could not climb out for a long time. Lu Fongming was shocked first, then surprised, and finally covered his stomach, burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, heavens it's killing him. How could he laugh until break his stomach? Su Luo looked at Big Sister Wei like this, silently looked up at the sky, and silently lowered her head to cut internal pellet. She didn't see anything. She really didn't see anything. Lu Fongming was kind enough to help pull Big Sister Wei out. Big Sister Wei was very kind. Since he helped her by pulling her out, she would not chase after him anymore. Besides, now even if she wanted to kill, she had no strength. At this time, Su Luo had finished cutting the internal pellet, and the cut internal pellet was intact, and the efficacy was well preserved. Although Lu Fongming was envious, his skill was inferior to the other person. He just admitted defeat, cupped his hands to Su Luo, and then left. Su Luo was about to collect the inner pellet, but suddenly she felt a killing intent, and her back instantly turned stiff. Su Luo suddenly looked back, only to find that there was nothing behind her. But, just now, the terrible feeling like she was on the verge on death was so real. It felt so real. Like she really walked through the gates of hell. Su Luo was on full alert at this moment, extremely vigilant. She threw a spirit restoration pill to Big Sister Wei. Let her quickly recover her strength, because she had a feeling that a fierce battle would come soon. Although Big Sister Wei's brain was lacking, her instinct for danger was the same as Su Luo. So, without saying a word, she quickly stuffed the pill, cross-legged, and began to recover her strength. Time went by. Su Luo was holding the Cheng-Ying sword in her hand. She watched and listened in all directions. Her mind was on the highest alert. All of a sudden, a killing intent hit her back. Su Luo turned to avoid it, and then the Cheng-Ying sword in her hand suddenly stabbed toward the front left. Because Su Luo calculated the opponent's second step. Sure enough, the cold sword in the opponent's hand appeared on Su Luo's front left. Bang! The Cheng-Ying sword collided with the opponent's cold sword. The sparks was all over the place, making a loud crash. At the same time, Su Luo saw the opponent clearly. It was a man in black. His whole body was covered in black clothes, his face was covered with black scarf, and his head was covered with black hat. The whole person was tightly wrapped, without revealing any flesh. "Who are you?" Su Luo's voice was cold. It hadn't been long since she entered the genius training camp. She couldn't have offended anyone, right? Chapter 2032. Unexpected surprise 5. The man in black clothes didn't answer Su Luo. His sword quickly flashed towards Su Luo's throat. Su Luo subconsciously stepped back. She lightly spun around with her toes, and her body silently stepped toward the man's back. At close proximity, she suddenly thrusted her dagger towards the man's back. This black-clothed man exerted a large amount of pressure on Su Luo and also reminded her of a familiar feeling. The opponent's strength was at least at first star of Saint rank, and his best ability was assassination. Every move was concisely aiming at her vital points. His only purpose was to kill her. Su Luo could conclude that this man was a real assassin, and the value of his existence was to kill people. It was certain that he was not a lone assassin, but a part of a whole organization. When did she offend such an organization without realizing it? Su Luo was slightly shocked, but she had no time to think about it now. The most important thing was to deal with this black-clothed man. In order to capture this man, Su Luo instantly used all her trump cards. Nothingness of Space, the Chungying Sword, Yun Luo Red Lotus. At this moment, Su Luo's strength instantly skyrocketed to the strength of Saint rank. Because of this, Su Luo quickly gained the upper hand, and it only took a little time to capture the opponent. Suddenly, bam! In a flash, another black-clothed man jumped down from the treetop. This black-clothed man was thin, but his eyes flashed dangerously. Su Luo knew this man was stronger than the man she just fought with. The black-clothed man jumped down from the tree, but didn't come to kill Su Luo. He rushed toward Big Sister Wei. Su Luo was shocked and immediately cried out, "Big Sister Wei, watch out!" At this moment, Big Sister Wei, who was trying to heal her injuries, was startled by Su Luo's shout. She had no time to think about it. She then flew up and fought against the black-clothed man. Su Luo was very nervous. The people in black clothes were obviously organized. No one knew how many came. As time passed, Su Luo realized that their situation would get worse. Su Luo looked at the black-robed man in front of her. Murderous intent flashed in her eyes. Suddenly, Su Luo released her full strength. The black-clothed man, who was fighting her, instantly felt the pressure had doubled, as if the girl had become much stronger. He scolded himself inwardly in his heart. How could this girl's strength, which looked like a sesame seed, suddenly skyrocket? Su Luo sneered. Within 5 strokes, she found a flaw and slashed the Chungying sword across his neck. Blood flew out. The man in black clothes was dead. Su Luo didn't have much time to think about him and hurried to Big Sister Wei's side to fight with her. The black-clothed man wanted to run as soon as he saw his comrade had died. However, Su Luo released and enclosed the black-clothed man inside. Big Sister Wei and she then joined forces to subdue the man within 10 moves. However, before she could forcefully question the black-clothed man, he bit his tongue and killed himself. His movements were simple and neat, with no trace of hesitation. Looking at these 2 corpses on the ground, Su Luo's face had darkened. Big Sister Wei was aware that Su Luo was in a bad mood. She gave Su Luo a cowardly look and then remained silent. Chapter 2033, Unexpected Surprise 6. Su Luo crouched down and pulled off the black cloth covering the man's face. It was an ordinary face. The facial features were so ordinary that they wouldn't be recognized in the crowd. However, even if the man was dead, his face features were still cold, showing that he really was a top assassin. Lifting the black cloth off another man's face, Su Luo still didn't recognize him. The most important thing now was to leave this place quickly. Oh! Su Luo suddenly saw a space storage bag hanging on the black-clothed man's waist. The space storage bag was not large, only 1 cubic meter, but its price was extremely expensive. Su Luo didn't say anything, but confiscated the space bag. As for these 2 dead bodies, Su Luo thought for a while and took out a white porcelain bottle from her space bag. She then poured out a yellow powder on the wound of the 2 bodies. Soon, the powder reacted. SSSS, there was a sound of sulfuric acid corrosion. The blood on the wound of the corpse quickly reacted with the bright yellow powder, and the reaction was intense. The blood contaminated with the powder instantly turned into a sugar corrosive, and the 2 bodies decayed at a rate visible to the naked eye, leaving only a small pool of pale yellow liquid. "Let's go," Su Luo said to Big Sister Wei, and quickly flew forward. Big Sister Wei obediently followed Su Luo. Shortly after they left, a faint figure appeared at the spot Su Luo originally stood. He released his consciousness and looked around, but found no one and frowned uncontrollably. He then saw the pool of yellow liquid on the ground. The man in black clothes squatted down, smelled it, and finally stretched out a finger touching the pale yellow liquid. He was about to taste it, but he found that his finger was almost corroded. He was taken aback and instantly cut his finger with his dagger. What a terrible corrosive liquid! The man solemnly looked at the yellow liquid, and his eyes fiercely flashed. He then sensed the breath in the air, locked on its direction, and chased forward. The direction of his pursuit was the direction Su Luo escaped to. Su Luo and Big Sister Wei ran for hundreds of kilometers before stopping. Su Luo sensed the air around her, not noticing the murderous aura of the black-clothed man. She quietly wiped off the cold sweat on her forehead. Who was the black-clothed man? Why did he want to kill her? Regarding this point, Su Luo was very puzzled. Forget it. Just wait for a chance to capture the leader and question him. At this moment, Su Luo finally had time to take a good look at the 2 space bags she had seized from the 2 dead, black-clothed men. Because the space bag was marked by the blood of its owner. As long as the owner had died, the space bag would automatically cancel the contract. Su Luo had a space bag for herself, so she did not need it anymore. She let Big Sister Wei drop her blood on the space bag. Seeing Su Luo approach her with a dazzling dagger, Big Sister Wei, who was afraid of pain, subconsciously stepped back. Su Luo angrily glanced at Big Sister Wei. Look at you. You wouldn't frown if you cut off a finger. But now it is only a small drop of blood, and you're afraid to do it? Hurry up and give me your hand. Big Sister Wei pursed her lips, angrily glared at Su Luo, and weakly extended out a finger. Su Luo's dagger gently sliced her fingertip as a bead of blood rolled out instantly and fell on the black space bag. Big Sister Wei happily withdrew her hand. Seeing the small cut on her finger, to her, it was just a tickle. Chapter 2034, Encounter Crisis 1. A drop of blood rolled down, and the black-clothed man's space bag opened. Big Sister Wei used her spiritual force to look in it, frowned, and then looked at Su Luo. What's in it? Su Luo asked Big Sister Wei with a smile. Big Sister Wei saw there was nothing to eat inside, so her eyebrows tightened. Big Sister Wei flipped the space bag, then shook it up and down. Crash! Clunk! Everything inside the bag rolled out one by one. Hard stone-shaped wheat cakes, cultivation books, and rare crystals. Seeing these ink-colored crystals, Su Luo's eyes flashed. She subconsciously crouched down, picked up the black crystals, and looked at them closely. She remembered that Nangong Luyan said that this black crystal was very useful for cultivating the law of darkness. Su Luo suspiciously rubbed these black crystals with her fingertips and fell into deep contemplation. Suddenly, Su Luo seemed to have thought of something and opened the other space bag with her own blood. Clunk! There were also a dozen of black crystals. Su Luo was stupefied. According to Su Luo's knowledge, the majority of people who cultivated the law of darkness were from the legendary Thorny organization. Those people they killed before, could it be? However, this place was clearly the Purgatory City. How could there be a person from that organization here? And even chased to kill her? Thinking of this organization, Su Luo's mind was filled with Nangong Luyan. She unconsciously spaced out and smiled. Big Sister Wei saw Su Luo carry the empty bag upside down and stood there motionlessly. She stretched out her 5 fingers and waved it in front of Su Luo. She seriously asked, "Are you mad?" Su Luo awakened from her fantasy, looked at Big Sister Wei, and smiled. "Yeah, I'm mad. I even hope to see Nangong here right now. Aren't I out of my mind?" Nangong was in the East Sea. It was countless thousands of miles away from here. How could she see him? Big Sister Wei looked at Su Luo sympathetically. "You can rest assured. Even if you're mad, you still look beautiful." Su Luo laughed out loud, shook her head, shoved her hope to the back of her mind, and asked Big Sister Wei, "Are you hungry?" Big Sister Wei covered her stomach and glared at Su Luo. "Yes." Su Luo smiled. It was rare to see a hungry Big Sister Wei to not vigorously awaken her in her trance before, so she had enjoyed a good daydream for a while. Su Luo had already prepared the lunch beforehand. Because danger was everywhere, Su Luo had prepared a lot of things beforehand. Anyway, the things that were put in the space bag wouldn't get damaged. When they were taken out of the bag, they were still hot. Su Luo released all the pets. Then, she took out the lunch that was already prepared. Everyone sat around on the soft blanket and began to enjoy the food. At this moment, Su Luo suddenly had a very bad premonition. Big Sister Wei acted stupidly. She swallowed the whole barbecued meat, but Su Luo only ate a small chicken leg. After the meal, Su Luo quickly led everyone on the road. Before she could go far, she had to stop. At this time, there was a row of people waiting in front of her. This group of people, who were not dressed in black, gave Su Luo a very bad feeling. Eldest brother, it's her. A familiar voice rang out. Su Luo's eyes flickered. Although Su Luo only had seen this person once, she was still able to recognize him. He was seventh brother Hua, who got smacked into the mud by Big Sister Wei. Chapter 2035, Encountered Crisis 2. At this time, seventh brother Hua was complaining to someone. Eldest brother, it's them. They took away the gluttonous, poisonous, green-eyed devil. Seventh brother Hua loudly complained as he scorned Big Sister Wei at the same time. He had not seen it with his own eyes, but when he met Lu Fangming, he only heard a sentence from him and believed it. Lu Fangming did not expect that he would be able to avenge himself only by saying a single sentence. Eldest brother Hua was dressed in a blue robe, had a cold complexion, and a pair of domineering eyes. At this time, eldest brother Hua was staring at Su Luo with a pair of cold eyes and said, "Give us the inner core, and we will let you guys live." Su Luo sneered. "Are you guys stealing in broad daylight?" "Stealing? That's the wrong word. Why don't you try saying robbing and killing you?" A figure wearing a white robe standing behind eldest brother Hua came out and sneered. This person was Qing Yi. Su Luo clearly remembered that Qing Yi and Lu Yi had tried to shame Ziyin after the Genius Training Camp assessment. Because of Luo Yi-chun, this person had run away. She didn't expect to encounter her here. Enemies really do meet on a narrow road. Qing Yi was a disciple of the third elder, so she shared the same hatred towards Su Luo. When Su Luo saw her, Su Luo knew that she was really in danger. After secretly saying a few words in eldest brother Hua's ear, Qing Yi descended to the ground, arrogantly lifted her chin, and glanced at Su Luo. Eldest brother Hua's original cold and proud eyes slightly changed, and when he looked at Su Luo again, his anger shot up even more. Eldest brother Hua sneered. "You dare to oppose the third elder and even angered the serene fairy? If I had not met you, then it's fine, but little girl, you are out of luck today." Su Luo felt anxious in her heart. Based on the analysis of their strength, elder brother Hua was at Saint rank and much stronger than her. Even if she and Big Sister Wei attacked together, they wouldn't be able to defeat him. In addition, Qing Yi was also here. Seventh brother Hua proudly glanced at Big Sister Wei, and Qing Yi sneered at Su Luo repeatedly. At the same time, they silently changed positions and surrounded Su Luo and Big Sister Wei so that they could not flee. Qing Yi coldly sneered at Su Luo. "Next year, this date will be your death anniversary, Su Luo. You can't run away this time." "Ha! There is a saying that goes, heaven has a road, but no one travels it. Hell has no gate, but men will dig to get there." Eldest brother Hua flexed his muscles and wildly waved while shouting, "No one will know if we kill you in this magical beast region. Come on, let's kill them." However, before eldest brother Hua's last words even rang out, Su Luo had already signaled Big Sister Wei to fight. Big Sister Wei's body just moved slightly, but Qing Yi had already flown to her. Big Sister Wei and Qing Yi were almost equal in strength, so the battle was unpredictable. Su Luo did not hesitate and rushed toward eldest brother Hua, because she knew that if she wanted to get out of here, it all depended on eldest brother Hua, as his strength was the key to this battle. Boom! As soon as Su Luo and eldest brother Hua's palms collided, Su Luo felt an indescribable wave of power sweeping her, knocking her entire body back. She flew over a dozen feet before falling to the ground. As soon as Su Luo's feet fell to the ground, she felt an urge to vomit blood rising from her chest. No way! It was just one move, but it made her almost vomit blood. If she vomited the blood, it would be bad for their morale. Therefore, Su Luo tried to swallow the blood back in. Chapter 2036, Encountered Crisis 3. At that moment, eldest brother Hua had flown towards Su Luo. A fireball was condensed in his hand, and he immediately launched it towards Su Luo, surrounding her with a pillar of fire. What a fierceful fire! Su Luo felt like her body was being roasted by the fire. Her skin and muscles dried up. It felt like her whole body was being burned. He was really a saint rank. Although the flame wasn't like the little red lotus, it was a kind of strange fire called jiaolong. This flame was fierce and unstoppable. Even if Su Luo's original element was fire, her body would still be burned into ash within a minute. Fortunately, Su Luo had the Yun Luo red lotus body. Furthermore, Little Red Lotus just awakened at the most critical moment. After swallowing the fire crystal, it immediately developed from infancy to early childhood, and its strength greatly increased. Therefore, it blocked the fireball attack from the eldest brother Hua. Your fire is the Yun Luo Red Lotus? Eldest brother Hua was shocked when he saw an orange-red flame tightly guarding Su Luo. There were few artifacts that could extinguish his pillar of fire within a few seconds. Su Luo coldly snorted and enclosed eldest brother Hua in the nothingness of space. The Chungying's sword spun around and stabbed from behind him. Fast. Very fast. In just an instant, Su Luo used 49 moves. You could see the sword quickly flashing in the midst of Su Luo's afterimages. Because Su Luo knew the difference in strength between herself and eldest brother Hua was too great, and she had to take advantage of this fleeting chance. Only at this moment, eldest brother Hua was thoroughly shocked. She could have the chance to defeat him. However, due to the large gap in strength, the effect of the nothingness of space on eldest brother Hua was negligible. When the Chungying sword stabbed him from behind, eldest brother Hua quickly spun around and shot out an imprint. With a loud clatter, Chungying's sword was swept down to the ground. Eldest brother Hua sneered. Your strength is bad, but all of your treasures are fantastic. It's really a shame for you to have them. The Chungying sword, the little red lotus, the nothingness of space. Each and every one almost made eldest brother Hua crazy. As long as he could use these treasures, he could then skip a big step in the next ranking of dragon list. At this point, eldest brother Hua's determination to kill Su Luo had intensified, because all of these treasures had already recognized Su Luo as their master. Only by killing her could he then take these treasures for his own use. As for whether these treasures would agree, for a strong master, how could they not agree? At this point, eldest brother Hua looked at Su Luo full of greed and determination to win. He decided to kill Su Luo to grab those treasures at all costs. Before, eldest brother Hua only used 70% of his strength, but now he intentionally used all of his strength. Boom! The golden fist smashed into Su Luo's abdomen. Su Luo's was knocked backwards again and landed heavily on the ground. This fist was the most powerful attack Su Luo had ever encountered. Even the Jade Lake's Fairy's attack was not as serious as this one. At this moment, Su Luo was smashed into a huge pit behind her and unable to move. It hurt. The pain almost made her faint instantly. Su Luo felt that almost all of her internal organs had shifted and several ribs must have been broken. Her painful tears came out when she took a breath. Eldest brother Hua greedily sneered, and he walked slowly towards Su Luo, step by step. Chapter 2037. Encountered Crisis 4. At this time, Su Luo was like a little ant in his hand, and victory was within his grasp. Su Luo's eyes narrowed. She could feel the death approaching her. Right then, Su Luo gritted her teeth and lit up the communication amulet on her wrist. Luo Yichen, I owe you another favor, Su Luo said in her heart. At this time, Su Luo really could feel the danger for her life and her own powerlessness. However, Su Luo found that the communication amulet did not light up. What was happening? Eldest brother Hua smiled and proudly sneered. I set this shield barrier up. You can't send any form of communication for 100 feet. It is impossible to send out any form of communication, little girl. Su Luo's eyes slightly narrowed, feeling anxious in her heart. She couldn't even say her last words. Su Luo staggeringly stood up. However, before she could stand still, another golden fist hit her chest again. Su Luo's body was like a ruined rag doll, rapidly flying backwards. Boom! The strong power wave slammed Su Luo into the ground. Su Luo's body was very fragile and had no strength to resist. She laid quietly on the ground, coughing intermittently, and bright red blood poured out of her mouth. Her eyes were blurred but calm. As the steady steps came toward her, she could feel the hands of death dragging her into hell. Was death like this? This wasn't what she had planned for. Su Luo struggled to stand up, but found that she had no strength in her body. Not only that, she could even die from the pain of just breathing. A long sword in eldest brother Hua's hand was coldly shimmering. He was only 3 steps away from Su Luo. For Su Luo, the strength of eldest brother Hua was not something to look down upon. Right now, she couldn't defeat him. At that moment, a whistle suddenly rang. Big Sister Wei, who was fighting with Qing Yi, found a purple bottle, put it in her mouth, and she swallowed all the pills inside in one go. In an instant, Big Sister Wei felt her strength soar. Ah! Big Sister Wei held a broad dagger with both hands, descended from the air, and slashed into Qing Yi. Qing Yi didn't expect that Big Sister Wei, who she was just equal in strength to mere moments before, suddenly increased her strength to such a degree. At the moment of shock, Big Sister Wei's broad dagger suddenly slashed out. Qing Yi's arm could not dodge on time and was cut off. The blood burst forth like a spring. Qing Yi froze, almost unable to react, until the severe pain came from her right hand. But when Qing Yi finally reacted and screamed, Big Sister Wei had already rushed toward eldest brother Hua with a broad dagger. Big Sister Wei's violent broad dagger dance went for the critical angles. For a moment, eldest brother Hua was desperately fending her off, but he couldn't shake her off. "Little Luo, let's go." Big Sister Wei screamed at Su Luo while she was dancing with her broad dagger frantically. Because Big Sister Wei attacked with vicious ferocity, eldest brother Hua was momentarily caught off guard. But when he soon recovers, Big Sister Wei and Su Luo would both die. Instead of the two of them dying, it was better to let Su Luo escape. This was Big Sister Wei's subconscious thought. Su Luo's eyes turned red. With Big Sister Wei's sudden surge in strength, she now had a good chance to escape on her own instead of fighting with eldest brother Hua. Weren't Big Sister Wei's actions no different from suicide? Chapter 2038 Encounter Crisis 5. Finally, eldest brother Hua had pulled himself together. He was annoyed when he saw Qing Yi's cut-off arm. He was thoroughly enraged. "Bitch!" Eldest brother Hua cursed at Big Sister Wei while he condensed a golden ball containing all of his strength. One of his hands grabbed Big Sister Wei's neck like a chick, and the other hand clenched into a fist hitting Big Sister Wei's abdomen strongly. Just like that, eldest brother Hua kept holding Big Sister Wei and hitting his fist against her abdomen at the same time. Little by little, like a heavy hammer, hit her body. Eldest brother Hua's strength was much stronger than Big Sister Wei's. After dozens of heavy blows, Big Sister Wei's body was heavily beaten up to the point she couldn't even stand. However, Big Sister Wei still couldn't stop shouting at Su Luo, "Go! Go!" Su Luo's tears instantly poured down. Su Luo didn't think she treated Big Sister Wei well enough to make Big Sister Wei use her own life to open an escape for Su Luo. Seeing Big Sister Wei being pounded down like a sandbag, Su Luo suddenly felt a force supporting her to stand up. Escape? Leaving Big Sister Wei alone? Su Luo bitterly shook her head. Now that her body was so ruined, how could she escape? Since she couldn't escape, it was better to have a life and death fight, and someone to die with. Su Luo lifted her face, screamed to the sky, and put the Emperor Coagulation pill into her mouth. Her body was protected by Scarlet Blood Ningpo Figwort, and she just ate the Emperor Coagulation pill, so she quickly regained some strength. Nothingness of space now, Su Luo angrily snorted. Then, with Cheng Ying's sword in her hand, she stabbed seventh brother Hua, who stood near her. Seventh brother Hua did not expect that Su Luo, who was dying, would still have such power. For a while, he couldn't react in time. When he came back to his senses, Cheng Ying's sword had already pierced his throat and beheaded him on the spot. It could be said that this battle was caused by seventh brother Hua. If it were not him who complained, Su Luo might not have met with Qing Yi and been seized by eldest brother Hua. The death of seventh brother Hua caused a slight uproar, but Su Luo grabbed Cheng Ying's sword and rushed towards Qing Yi. Qing Yi had her right arm cut off by big sister Wei before. At the moment, she was exhaustedly crying, and Su Luo's sword came to her before she could react. Bang! Qing Yi avoided sideways. Although she avoided Su Luo's sword, she couldn't avoid the flames of Little Red Lotus. Whoosh! Orange-red flames burst out crazily. At this moment, Su Luo was really desperate. No holding back. All of her strength bursted out, and violently fought with the enemies with a decisive battle. Qing Yi's strength was much higher than Su Luo, but under Su Luo's desperate dismissal, she constantly got pushed back. She almost got chopped by Su Luo. The time seemed to pass by quickly, like it was just in the blink of an eye. Su Luo's advantage was only at this moment because eldest brother had let go of big sister Wei and was coming towards Su Luo. Big sister Wei was thrown aside like a broken doll, and eldest brother was roaring towards Su Luo. Smelly girl, go die. Seventh brother Hua was killed by Su Luo, and Qing Yi was embarrassed by Su Luo. When eldest brother Hua saw this scene, he was enraged. He wished that Su Luo would burst under his palm instantly. Eldest brother Hua condensed all of his strength. If Su Luo was hit, she would definitely die. Chapter 2039, Encountered Crisis 6. Right at this moment, a black figure rushed towards Su Luo, hugged her, and turned his back to Huabo. Big sister Wei. Su Luo screamed. Eldest brother Hua thrusted his palm, smashing towards Su Luo and sister Wei. One more casualty didn't make a difference. One could see how two of them were about to be smashed into meat patties, but a shadow flashed at the most critical moment. Eldest brother Hua only felt a windy breeze passing in front of his eyes. When he came back to his senses again, Su Luo was gone. What's going on? Huabo blankly looked around and found no trace of Su Luo anywhere. Su Luo seemed to have disappeared from this world. There were no traces left behind. Not only did Su Luo disappear, so did her spiritual pets and the seriously injured sister Wei. How is this possible? What the heck happened? Huabo shouted. Qing Yi opened her eyes and incredulously stared at the place where Su Luo had originally stood. Eldest brother Hua finally noticed something was wrong and quickly woke her up from daydreaming. Did you see it? What happened? A man in black. Qing Yi's eyes widened and blankly stared at eldest brother Hua. Save Su Luo. A man in black? Are you sure? Eldest brother Hua frowned. Although I couldn't make out his figure, he was covered in black clothes. I am certain. Qing Yi murmured. That man gave me a very familiar feeling. Who is it? Eldest brother Hua pulled up Qing Yi. I can't remember. Qing Yi tried to recall, but she couldn't pinpoint the person's name. So, she quickly changed the subject. Su Luo was rescued. Things will become very troublesome if she told First Elder. You know, First Elder has always been on her side. Why does this matter have something to do with the First Elder? Why didn't you mention this before? Eldest brother Hua angrily shouted at Qing Yi. Qing Yi both felt pain and anger. However, in order to kill Su Luo and cut the grass at its roots, she continued to add oil and vinegar. In fact, not only the First Elder. It is said that Su Luo was personally recommended by the Master of Purgatory City. If Su Luo disappeared now, then when the Master of Purgatory City comes back, Huabo's eyes glared at Qing Yi. He wanted to instantly kill her with his palm. Such a serious matter. Why do you just tell me now? Huabo slapped Qing Yi so hard, it knocked her body away. Poor Qing Yi. She never thought that she would be treated like this. Eldest brother Hua was so angry that his beard pointed upward and his eyes could spit fire. He didn't expect Su Luo to be such an important person. First Elder could tie him up with his hands, and now he would face the city master. Even if the city master didn't seem to be as the rumors described, I still shouldn't be careless. No, I must not let that smelly girl walk out of this place alive. Otherwise, I would be finished. Huabo punched the old tree in front of him, and the old tree instantly turned into powder. It was still acceptable to become enemies normally, but what he had done was murder. If that stinky girl came back and complained to the First Elder, although the First Elder didn't interfere with matters of the Genius Training Camp, I can't be confined in this Genius Training Camp for the rest of my life. Chapter 2040 Encounter Crisis 7. Therefore, eldest brother Hua decided to kill Su Luo at all cost. To cut the root forever. Qing Yi, who fell in the mud, sneered slowly. Su Luo, you can't run away. Once Hua Bo decided to kill a person, that person wouldn't be able to escape. Su Luo only felt pain in her head. Her body became numb, as if she got run over by a big truck. In the darkness, a pair of distressed eyes were looking at her. Cold, slender fingers were touching her face and cheeks. With that gentle touch, the burning pain was reduced. In a trance, the deep, hot eyes gradually faded away. Nangong! Su Luo woke up from her dream and felt that Nangong was fading away. Su Luo anxiously sat up. It hurts. Su Luo felt intense pain as if her bones had been crushed. Su Luo took a deep breath and tried to extend her fingers, but she didn't have any strength left. Su Luo anxiously looked around. Where could Nangong Luyan be? She must have been dreaming. But was he really there? Su Luo's eyes appeared confused and soon looked suspiciously. She clearly remembered that eldest brother Hua had almost killed her, and Sister Wei ran over to hug her. Finally, she felt Hua Bo's powerful palm smashing toward them. At that moment, she instinctively closed her eyes while she thought she would die. However, there seemed to have been a pair of slender and gentle hands that took her away. Was it Nangong Luyan? Thinking of this possibility, Su Luo smiled dryly. This was the low-rank magical beast zone of Purgatory City, and Nangong Luyan was in the East Sea. Two of them were separated by 180,000 miles. How could he be there? If he did appear, how could he leave while she was sleeping? Su Luo's eyes dejectedly flashed. She shook her head with a sad smile. By the way, where was Sister Wei? Su Luo quickly looked around. Since Sister Wei ran to save her regardless of her own life, Su Luo grew an attachment to Sister Wei. From that moment, Su Luo really treated Sister Wei as her own kin. Su Luo discovered that they were in a deep cave. Surrounded by darkness, she couldn't even see her hands. Su Luo had gone through special training, so her eyesight at day and night were the same. She soon saw Sister Wei was laying 3 feet away from her. Sister Wei was lying motionlessly as if she was dead. Su Luo got startled and subconsciously rushed over. However, when her body moved, the pain instantly came back. It hurt. Su Luo shook her head and suppressed the pain. Then, Su Luo looked at her own condition. After fighting with eldest brother Hua, her internal organs were now displaced, her ribs were all broken, and her heart almost got pierced. Fortunately, she had Scarlet Blood Ningpo Figward from the 9th level of the assessment. With this Scarlet Blood Ningpo Figward protecting her, Su Luo's body almost completely recovered after one night. Fortunately, her spirit power did not disappear. Su Luo resisted the pain and walked towards Big Sister Wei. Sister Wei couldn't die. Otherwise, how could she return her saving grace? Chapter 2041 Encounter Crisis 8. Even with a distance of 3 feet, it took Su Luo 3 minutes to reach Sister Wei. Su Luo knelt halfway and put her fingers on Sister Wei's wrist to carefully check her pulse. Even if her breath was weak, as long as she was still breathing, Su Luo could bring her back to life. No life-saving elixirs could compare to Su Luo's blood. This time, Su Luo was not stingy at all. She took out a white dagger, drew a line on her wrist, and the blood rolled out like raindrops. Su Luo opened Sister Wei's chapped lips and dropped the sweet red blood into her mouth. When Su Luo was panting from the loss of too much blood, Sister Wei's injured body was finally recovering. The cut on Su Luo's wrist had already coagulated, and the scary wound had begun to heal. Su Luo fed Sister Wei an emperor coagulation pill and checked Sister Wei's condition. After seeing her body begin to improve, Su Luo slowly moved back to her original spot. Looking at her original spot, Su Luo's eyes straightened. Only now had she discovered one thing. In this deep dark cave, there was a bed and a quilt. Su Luo had a very familiar feeling. Su Luo was stunned because she felt both shocked and surprised. She didn't even frown, even though she was in severe pain. Su Luo grabbed the quilt and carefully checked it from the beginning to the end, under the faint moonlight. She was so excited that she almost tore the quilt with her hands. She clearly remembered that she used to put on this jean quilt back when she was in Su Manor. Whether it was the texture, color, or workmanship, all of them were exactly the same. What exactly was going on? How did the jean quilt she used in Su Manor suddenly appear here? This place was Purgatory City, Genius Training Camp, Magical Beast Zone. Su Luo recalled the warm, slender arms, the familiar chest and name. Nangong Luyin? Was it really him? But if it was him, why would he leave her alone? Why not wait for her to wake up and leave? Su Luo ran around in excitement, and she couldn't sit still at this moment. Crack! Su Luo stepped on a hard object. What is this? Su Luo picked up the object. Communication amulet. Su Luo angrily threw the amulet on the quilt, but then her eyes widened. She also carried the amulet in her hand. So what about the one on Jean quilt? Was it? Su Luo fell on Jean quilt excitedly, but she swiftly got up, fearing that the amulet would be crushed. Su Luo quickly picked up the ink-blank communication amulet, wiped away the dust of her footprints that had been stepped on before, and happily looked at it. This communication amulet was ink-black color, and the one on her wrist was green. Su Luo subconsciously jumped to the conclusion. The answer she wanted was from this ink-colored communication amulet, but she was feeling a little uneasy. She was afraid that her hopes would be extinguished after exerting her spiritual power in this amulet. In the end, Su Luo finally found the courage to slowly input her spiritual power into this ink-colored communication amulet. Chapter 2042, Encounter Crisis 9. Su Luo was very happy. Immediately, the communication amulet displayed a small screen. There was only one name in the contact list, but the name made Su Luo's heart happy. Then it turned into frustration. Nangong Luyun. It was, actually, him. At this moment, Su Luo tightly clutched the communication amulet to her chest and took a deep breath. Relief swept over her. After a while, Su Luo finally returned to her senses. She pressed Nangong Luyun's name and tried to contact him. What's going on? Su Luo asked herself. The other party did not respond. Su Luo recalled a black-clothed man who had fallen from the sky and rescued her when she was unconscious. Su Luo now could certainly conclude that Nangong was the black-clothed man. Those black-clothed men who hunted her down before were all dark cultivators, and they should come from the same organization as Nangong. Were they here for a secret mission? Because of this mission, was Nangong pretending not to recognize her? Su Luo was very clever. She could correctly connect things together through some small clues. Looking at the grayed-out name, Su Luo's heart was tender, but she left only a sentence in the place of 1,000 words. How are you? After leaving a message to Nangong Luyun, Su Luo stopped daydreaming. She remembered Qing Yi and eldest brother Hua. Her white, slender hands clenched in a fist immediately. She would never forget when Sister Wei was beaten into a puddle of mud. She would never forget the suffering she had experienced. Eldest brother Hua? Very good. I will remember you. Su Luo looked deeply at the bright moonlight outside and sneered. The most important thing now was to hurry up and grow stronger. Otherwise, let alone revenge. Su Luo knew that if Qing Yi provoked Hua Bo, he would definitely not let Su Luo live. After thinking thoroughly, Su Luo set her mind on growing stronger and breaking through. Suddenly, Su Luo's eyes gradually brightened. The poisonous green-eyed devil Taotai, inner core. Su Luo spread out her hand, and a reddish core slowly appeared in the palm of her hand. It was so chaotic when she first obtained it. She hadn't had time to check. and now she could finally carefully inspect it. This inner core was the size of a dove egg. It was blood red. The outside shell was as bright as glazed glass, and the aroma was strong and refreshing. Whether or not I could turn the tables this time depends on you. Su Luo looked at the core with confidence. She was now only a 2-star. Based on her previous fight against eldest brother Hua, she must be at least 6-star of the commander rank in order to fight him. In this genius training camp, many people wanted to break through, and it was impossible to break through to the next star within a year. However, Su Luo was skipping 4 consecutive stars. If this news was spread out, others would think Su Luo was crazy. But only Su Luo knew that she wasn't crazy. It was possible for her because she knew a trick. She remembered that Master had once told her a way to improve her strength by using the elixirs. During the refining process, Su Luo added 10 Emperor-grade spirit restoration pills simultaneously. Under this circumstance, the refined elixir would be perfect. 10 Emperor-grade spirit restoration pill. To ordinary people, who would dare to use these pills luxuriously when the pill's value was so great? Only Su Luo, a genius, did not take these Emperor-grade pills seriously. Chapter 2043 Encounter Crisis 10 Su Luo was planning to refine the elixir immediately, but her current condition did not allow her to do so. Now, Su Luo's priority was to treat her wounds. So, Su Luo immediately jumped on the bed, sat cross-legged, and started meditating. However, before meditating, she subconsciously rubbed the ink-black communication amulet and pressed on the name of Nangong Luyun. No reply. She couldn't tell whether she was disappointed or sad. She silently turned off the communication amulet and put it into her space bag. She was worried about leaving it outside. Soon, Su Luo cleared up all of her thoughts and entered into a state of meditation. It didn't take long for Su Luo to enter the state. Countless bright, shiny, clustering lights gathered towards her body and quickly mended her injured body. When Su Luo woke up, 3 days and nights had already passed. Su Luo opened her eyes, and the first thing she grabbed was the ink-colored communication amulet from her space bag. She quickly opened it and then pressed on the name of Nangong Luyun. Still no reply. There was unspeakable disappointment in Su Luo's eyes. Her chest hurt as if a big rock was tossed on top of her. It was very uncomfortable and dull. Su Luo carefully put the communication amulet back into her space bag. Su Luo comforted herself. Nangong must be busy completing his mission. Otherwise, even if there was a little time left, he would take the time to reply to her message. After comforting herself, Su Luo's mood quickly relaxed, and her eyes then fell on Sister Wei. Su Luo's body had fully healed this time. She was still alive and kicking, completely unrecognizable from the person who was soaked in blood, unable to lift a finger, and severely in pain. Su Luo lightly jumped out of bed and walked quickly towards Sister Wei. After 3 days, Sister Wei's injuries had mostly been healed. At this time, Sister Wei was slowly opening her eyes, looking at Su Luo blankly, and shouted in shock, "Are you dead?" Su Luo angrily smiled. "Of course, I am not dead. If I were, who would treat you? I'm not dead yet." Sister Wei felt excited, jumped up, and then looked up and down at her own body. "Huh, this is wrong." Sister Wei was in disbelief. "Why are there no injuries on me?" Su Luo amusedly looked at Sister Wei. "Your injuries are healed. Of course, you don't feel any more pain. What are you thinking? But I was slightly injured before. There was an old man trying to heal me, but my body wasn't able to heal even after a month has passed. If that old man appeared in front of her right now, she would beat him black and blue." Su Luo shook her head with a smile and silently mourned for that old man. If it wasn't her scarlet blood Ningpo figwort and the Emperor-grade pills, how could Sister Wei recover from this injury within a month? However, Su Luo turned to look at Sister Wei and felt that Sister Wei seemed to change differently. It should be said she seemed slightly stronger. Su Luo's eyes flashed brightly. She grabbed Sister Wei and couldn't hide her excitement. Check your body. What's going on besides your recovery? Sister Wei obediently listened to Su Luo and immediately sat on the floor, inspecting her own body. However, this observation took a whole hour. When Sister Wei opened her eyes again, a trace of panic appeared in her eyes. Little Luo, not good. Chapter 2044, Encounter Crisis 11. Su Luo was shocked. Was it just as she guessed? Su Luo quickly asked. What's the matter? Don't worry. Let's talk about it. If you need any diagnosis and treatment, just leave it to me. Sister Wei tightly grabbed Su Luo's hands. A trace of panic showed on her face. She then pointed at her lower dantian with one finger. Here. There seems to be a worm crawling around here. It's itchy. A worm? Su Luo frowned. How could there be a worm? Is this possible? Su Luo tilted her head and thought for a while. The more she thought about it, the brighter her smile was. Su Luo looked at Sister Wei. Is the worm long and swimming around your lower dantian? You want to catch it, but you can't? Sister Wei's eyes widened. Yes. She tightly grasped Su Luo's hands as if she grabbed a life-saving elixir. Su Luo's fair hands were almost bruised. Sister Wei loudly asked, What should I do now? Su Luo was 70 to 80% certain. She smiled and asked Sister Wei, Look at your blood. Is it much redder than before? It is. Try to use your spiritual power again. Don't you feel stronger and more resilient? Su Luo asked while looking forward to Sister Wei's reply. After inspecting her strength again, Sister Wei found that her resistances were stronger than before, just like what Su Luo had said. Su Luo closely looked at Sister Wei and finally took a deep breath. Will I die? Sister Wei's pure, innocent eyes blinked and nervously stared at Su Luo. The atmosphere around them turned cold. She couldn't keep her smile anymore. You going to die? Are you worried that you will die? Su Luo was speechless and looked at Sister Wei with admiration. Sister Wei's heart was in turmoil when looking at Su Luo. She was panicking. Why are you so lucky, You just slept for 3 days, and you gained an indestructible body? You know, even my master has seen only one indestructible body in his life. Indestructible body? What is that? Can you eat it? Sister Wei felt so hungry that she could only think about her oily roasted chicken drumsticks. Su Luo angrily poked Sister Wei's forehead. Silly. An indestructible body. That's an indestructible body, What chicken drumsticks are you thinking about? Su Luo facepalmed. Su Luo took a deep breath and tried to calm down before slowly explaining. The indestructible body, in short, is an immortal body. Do you understand what a mortal body is? It's especially capable of resisting the attack from the enemy as well attacking others. In the future, if Hua Bo wanted to beat you to death with his fists, he would break his own hands first. After Su Luo's explanation, Big Sister Wei's eyes slowly brightened. Capable of attacking? Sister Wei weakly asked. Su Luo nodded. Capable of resisting? Su Luo nodded again. Sister Wei clapped her hands and laughed with great pleasure. That's great. I will try to resist the attack longer so that little Luo could have more time to escape. Fools were particularly simple-minded people. As long as someone treated them well, they would continue to return the favor till their deathbed. At this moment, Su Luo was very glad that she didn't treat Sister Wei badly while re-evaluating herself in her head. Chapter 2045, Raised One's Eyebrow. 1. Fortunately, Su Luo did not treat Sister Wei badly. Otherwise, she would feel deathly guilty. Sister Wei knew that she had gained an indestructible body. She was so excited that she immediately ran out of the cave and happily screamed. Su Luo also let her go. She had more important tasks to do right now. Su Luo carried her space bag with her. Some time ago, Su Luo finished a mission and bought a lot of elixir herbs. Therefore, Su Luo was going to refine the advancing pill with poisonous green-eyed devil taudai, inner core, all the prepared herbs. Su Luo used soul perception to pick out the best herbs one by one. It was already afternoon when Su Luo finished picking out the herbs. To refine this pill, Su Luo knew that it was not something that could be completed in a short time, even if the flow of time in her space world was slowed by a multiple of 10. Therefore, Su Luo let Sister Wei do whatever she wanted. When Su Luo was refining the elixir, only her soul could enter the space. Her body could not enter. That was why she couldn't just escape into the space when eldest brother Hua and the magical beast made separate attempts on her life. Firstly, Su Luo arranged Sister Wei to guard the cave during the refining process. Secondly, they must hide their presence, because Su Luo knew that eldest brother Hua would not give up searching for them, so they had to temporarily hide their presence. Su Luo let the nine-tailed silver fox and little sable hunt overnight. Roast chicken, duck, leopard legs, rabbits. In a short time, a huge pile of roasted meat was left in the corner. These roasted meats were enough for Sister Wei to last 5 or 6 days. Su Luo made all preparations and explained to Sister Wei many times before entering her space to refine elixirs. The poisonous green-eyed devil Taodai pill was very difficult to refine. Only one at the master apothecary level dared to refine it. However, Su Luo relied on her purple flame and little red lotus, so she was full of confidence that she could successfully refine this pill. After entering the space, Su Luo began to refine day and night. Sister Wei was not idle either, because Su Luo handed her a book of body refining art. Su Luo accidentally found this book while rummaging through her space. Su Luo didn't care much about it, because she got it from a lottery. The lottery drew a whole shelf, and some of them were swallowed by the puppets, so the remaining books had been piled up in the corner collecting dust. This body refining art book was useless for Su Luo's cultivation, but it was perfect for Sister Wei. Then, every day after Sister Wei ate roasted meats, she obediently followed the guidance of the book and continued cultivating the art slowly. During this time, as Su Luo expected, eldest brother Hua did not give up looking for them. He even collaborated with devouring rat beasts to hunt them down. In this entire magical beast zone, the most populous beasts were the devouring rats. These rats were small, but reproduced much faster than the other beasts. These rats usually stayed as a group. Many of them were swallowed and eaten by other powerful magical beasts. If it weren't for predators, they could occupy the entire outer magical beast zone. If you wanted to find a magical beast to search for someone, devouring rats were the best choice. In this entire magical beast zone, their kind was everywhere except in middle and inner zones of the magical beast forest. With Su Luo's current strength, if she entered the inner magical beast zone, she would surely die. Therefore, eldest brother Hua directly discarded this possibility. As for the price of this collaboration, paying by eldest brother Hua to work with these devouring rats, only he himself knew. Chapter 2046. Raised One's Eyebrow. 2. Only Qing Yi knew what eldest brother Hua traded to the devouring rat leader. Her face couldn't help but turned as black as ink. Soon after the meeting with the devouring rats, news began to spread. As a result, waves of devouring rats wandered around in the outer magical beast zone. Their population was very crowded, so they took the most effective and simplest method, a carpet search. After clearing a place, they went and swept to another place. Over time, their search gradually approached Su Luo's location. At this time, Su Luo was still carefully refining the advancing pill in her space. Sister Wei also had a chicken drumstick in her mouth while mimicking the postures in the body refining art book for several hours. Time passed by. Su Luo's group did not know that the danger had quietly arrived. If Su Luo didn't complete refining this advancing pill and was found by the eldest brother Hua before she made a breakthrough, everything would be over. There would be no black-clothed man falling from the sky again. At a place nearby, a lively devouring rat was left behind by its group while eating a small mushroom. His teary eyes looked around. His nose twitched. His eyes suddenly brightened, turned towards a direction, and quickly ran towards that direction. So fragrant! The little devouring rat followed his own feelings and the sense of smell by using his nose. After a while, he came to a cave entrance. This cave was well hidden. If not for a faint aroma, the entrance would have been impossible to find. This little devouring rat had the best sense of smell among all the devouring rats. It patted its small chest with pride while drooling. The little devouring rat started entering the cave. Its small body was covered by vines. Its eyes were looking around slowly. The little devouring rat saw a burly woman resting her legs on the wall, with one leg split. Her body twisted in an unimaginable posture. Looking from afar, the little devouring rat saw a pretty fairy sister who was sleeping on the bed. Her cheeks were pink and tender, which made it want to take a bite. However, the most attractive thing was the food in the corner. Oh my God! What a delicious treasure! Yum! That rich aroma tempted it so much that it almost fainted. Taking advantage of Sister Way's distraction, the little devouring rat sneakily crawled in. Its size was too small, so Sister Way had no precautions, which actually let this little devoured rat dive in. The little devoured rats secretly took away 5 big chicken drumsticks and then sneakily ran away. After Big Sister Way finished with her cultivation, she was so hungry and ate 20 chicken drumsticks. Outside of the cave, the little devouring rats was so excited that its legs were shaking. It excitedly enjoyed eating the 5 stolen chicken drumsticks. Too fragrant. It was too fragrant. At this time, Su Luo and Sister Wei were still ignorant, not knowing that the devouring rats were looking for them. One of the devouring rats had already found them and even stole Sister Wei's food. If the little devouring rats returned to its group, Su Luo's situation would be very dangerous. However, it seemed that God was helping Su Luo and Sister Wei. The little devouring rat did want to go back to its group at first. However, after he finished the chicken drumsticks, he could not move. Chapter 2047. Raised One's Eyebrow 3. If the little devouring rat took the chicken drumsticks back to its team, its friends would divide the stolen meats. What should I do? Where to hide the meats? After thinking for a while, the little devouring rat decided to eat all 5 chicken drumsticks before crawling back. The little devouring rat thought so at first, but when he finished all 5 chicken drumsticks, he patted his full stomach and lazily slept. When the little devouring rat woke up again, it was noon the next day. It originally wanted to find its team, but looking at delicious chicken bones, it could not leave. The little devouring rat cocked its head and thought about something. Finally, it turned around and wildly ran towards the cave. It was drooling while sprinting. The roasted chicken drumsticks were so enticing to Sister Wei and the little devouring rat, not just because of delicious seasoning, but also good roasting technique. Before roasting the food, Su Luo poured the spirit water on top of the meat. The spirit water was full of essence. Whether it was for humans or magical beasts, they would instinctively like it. The little devouring rat stayed a few miles away from the cave entrance. While Sister Wei cultivated her body refining art, the little devouring rat snuck in and stole a few big chicken drumsticks again. It wasn't too greedy, so it didn't linger to try to get more. Sister Wei was still unaware of what was going on. Su Luo was completely unaware that the roasted chicken drumsticks attracted the little devouring rats, and her hidden place almost got discovered. So, the storm narrowly passed, even though both Su Luo and Sister Wei didn't know it. Time passed by slowly. Even if the little devouring rat did not go back to report the news, the horde of devouring rats gradually approached the cave. At this moment, Sister Wei habitually wanted to eat chicken drumsticks after cultivating, but she was dumbfounded. Chicken drumsticks? My chicken drumsticks? Sister Wei was so anxious. Originally, the thighs and other meats were placed in a big black urn, which was something Su Luo took out from her space. But now, Sister Wei found that it was gone. Sister Wei felt like she was struck by lightning. Just like a tree branch swaying in the wind, her body trembled. Afterwards, Sister Wei stepped up, picked up the large urn, and shook it up and down. Nothing left at all. Sister Wei was stunned and didn't know what to do. Throughout the afternoon, she was in a state of shock. She sat there motionlessly and stared blankly, like a fool. If other people saw her, they would think that Sister Wei was the last survivor of a genocide. After a whole night, Sister Wei still maintained the same blank posture. The next day, Sister Wei didn't even cultivate her body refining art. After her training, there would be no more chicken drumsticks. Why practice? Sister Wei roared in her heart. At the beginning, Su Luo had told her very clearly. Every time she finished cultivating body refining art, she could eat 20 chicken drumsticks. Now that the reward was gone, Sister Wei had no more motivation to cultivate. Sister Wei's eyes turned red. Su Luo looked as if she was sleeping peacefully. Her face was slightly red and tender, which looked very attractive. Sister Wei walked around Su Luo's bed and mumbled, "I can't wake little Luo up. I must not wake her up." But she was really hungry. What should I do? Chapter 2048. Raised one's eyebrow for. One could say that Sister Wei's luck was very good. Just as Sister Wei was about to rack her brain to wake Su Luo up, Su Luo, who was laying on the bed motionlessly, slowly opened her eyes. "Little Luo, no more chicken drumsticks." Sister Wei threw herself at Su Luo and loudly complained. Su Luo's mouth slightly twitched. Su Luo endured so much hardship and finally succeeded in refining 2 advancing pills. Su Luo was planning to share 1 pill with Sister Wei. However, Sister Wei just rushed to her for some chicken drumsticks. How much was a chicken drumstick worth? This advancing pill was worth at least 500,000 points, and yet she didn't want to take it? Could she even trade a chicken for 1 advancing pill in this purgatory city? Su Luo couldn't wait to flick Sister Wei's forehead with her finger. "Luo, Luo, chicken drumsticks." Sister Wei seemed to realize that she was doing something wrong, so her voice sounded weak and pitiful, but she still didn't forget about her favorite food. Su Luo helplessly waved. Okay, chicken drumstick, isn't it?" After that, Su Luo asked the little fox to hurry and roast another pile of meat. After feeding Sister Wei, Su Luo gave Sister Wei an advancing pill and let her quickly cultivate. Sister Wei was now at 9-star of commander rank. After swallowing this advancing pill, Sister Wei should be able to advance to the saint rank. With the indestructible body, even if they met the eldest brother Hua again and still couldn't defeat him completely, they would be able to put up a better fight. Sister Wei took the pill from Su Luo and threw it in her mouth without thinking twice. She now had a blind, yet complete faith and admiration for Su Luo. A character like Sister Wei never knew betrayal. As long as her strength improved, she would be a great help for Su Luo. After all, in this genius training camp, Su Luo was alone. After seeing Sister Wei had entered the cultivation state, Su Luo created a protective array at the cave entrance. Then, she also began cultivating. Time passed by slowly. A murky voice sounded at the cave entrance. Then, the voice became louder and louder. After that, a large wave of the devouring rats appeared at the cave entrance. Squeak! Squeak! The one at the front of the group was the same devouring rat that came for Sister Wei's food before. Since it found no more chicken drumsticks, it left quietly. Then it ran to tell its little friends about this place. "Hiss! They are here. The target is here. Go and inform other humans." The leader of the Devouring Rats team excitedly cried out. Whichever team found the target first would be richly rewarded. However, a protective array was set up by Su Luo at the cave entrance, so these devouring rats could not enter. Therefore, they looked like huge black clouds as they all dogpiled at the entrance. At this moment, Su Luo did not know that the danger had reached the cave entrance. She was still immersed in her cultivation. 3-star of commander rank. 4-star of commander rank. Su Luo had been advanced to 4-star now. This advancing pill was really useful. Just like when she was cultivating in Spirit River, it raised her strength up quite a lot. 5-star of commander rank. After a short period of time, Su Luo had been advanced to 5-star of commander rank. Typically, when one entered the commander rank, advancing to a star could be very difficult. It would take a lot of time, energy, and insight. However, Su Luo just needed to refine an advancing pill and had now suddenly advanced from 2-star to 5-star. Chapter 2049. Raised one's eyebrow. 5. Obviously, even if Su Luo was generous to share the poisonous green-eyed devil Taotai inner core with others, and if they did succeed in refining this advancing pill, they wouldn't have the same effect as with Su Luo. Su Luo had put 10 Emperor-grade spirit restoration pills in during the refining process. The value of one Emperor-grade spirit restoration pill was enough to make countless people go bankrupt. At this moment, there were rapid footsteps outside. "They're here?" A human voice faintly spoke out. "Squeak!" The devouring rats excitedly nodded. Qingyi saw a protective array at the cave entrance and coldly sneered. This protective array was surely a work of humans, but this array was really weak. This array could confuse the spirit beasts, but it looked like a piece of paper to her. Qingyi raised her lips indifferently. Her body slightly moved, but a few imprints appeared on her fingers. Then the protective array slightly waved, and a small hole appeared, which was enough for Qingyi and the devouring rats to slip through. Inside the cave, Su Luo was surrounded by a layer of spiritual aura, and her whole body was shining with a bright, warm white light, just like a beautiful fairy bathing under moonlight. When Qingyi went in, a large wave of devouring rats also swarmed in. The space in the cave was originally spacious, but it became crowded now as the devouring rats were densely piling up. These devouring rats were very rude and kept talking nonstop. Qingyi then saw Su Luo and elder sister Wei. Her eyes suddenly brightened. She coldly sneered. "I did not expect you two to hide here." Qingyi walked around Su Luo slowly with a glorious victory in her eyes. In Qingyi's eyes, she was a knife and Su Luo was a fish. She could handle Su Luo however she wanted. Su Luo could feel the danger had arrived. However, she could not do anything as she was trying to advance right now. If the advancing process was interrupted, she would lose this great opportunity to advance. Qingyi suddenly looked at Su Luo's closed eyes. Her eyes faintly flashed with surprise. She stared at Su Luo in shock and disbelief. She tightly clenched her fists. "In just a few days, you already have grown so fast. Commander rank 5-star. From a little 2-star to 5-star at once. How is this possible?" After reaching commander rank, even if a genius had eaten all the pills and elixirs, they could only advance 1-star slowly. How could Su Luo advance so quickly? Qingyi was so shocked that her eyes were as round as eggs. She was lost in her thoughts for a while as she stared at Su Luo. However, at this moment, a clear, crispy bone sound came. "Freak!" Qingyi couldn't help but curse loudly and stared at Su Luo's eyes with 2 bloodshot eyes. 6-star? This wench actually advanced to 6-star in the blink of an eye. Wasn't she even human? Qingyi clearly remembered that more than half a month ago, Su Luo had just advanced to the commander rank at the 2nd level of the Genius Training Camp assessment. Was this too crazy? Qingyi almost became mad as she scratched her hair. If she didn't see this with her own eyes, Qingyi would absolutely not believe that it really happened. A trace of deep fear slowly formed in Qingyi's heart. In just 1 month from the 10th steps to commander rank 6-star, she had never seen anyone reach this level in the past 6 years. Chapter 2050. Raised one's eyebrow. 6. Then, if she were given another year's worth of time, or even 10 years' worth of time, just to what heights will this wench grow? How strong will she get? At this moment, Qingyi felt like her heart was being gripped ruthlessly. It was so painful that she almost choked. She believed it now. She believed the fear her master held towards Su Luo and the rumors that claimed the city lord treated Su Luo differently. No. She could not let Su Luo grow anymore. If she let her continue growing, then it would simply be too frightening. Third Elder and her disciples were destined to be in a situation of fighting to their last breath with Su Luo. If they gave her enough time, she might even be able to destroy the entire Bright Moon Palace Hall. Thinking up to here, Qing Yi looked at Su Luo with a gaze that not only contained a deep fear, but also a hatred that burned like raging flames. Suddenly, a dagger appeared on Qing Yi's left hand. Big Sister Wei had cut off one of Qing Yi's arms, and the animosity caused by that was irreconcilable. Qing Yi should be killing that crazy woman first. Yet, right now, she was placing Su Luo as her top objective. With a flash of cold light, she extended her dagger straight at Su Luo's nape. Right now, Su Luo was at the most critical moment of advancing to 6-star. If she were to get interrupted, not only would she be unable to advance, her life would also be at risk. Additionally, since she chose to advance, she could no longer stop. Then, right at this moment, Big Sister Wei's pair of tiger eyes suddenly opened. Soon after, she saw this thrilling scene. "Wetch, eat this!" Big Sister Wei picked up a thick wooden stick beside her and ruthlessly smashed it into Qing Yi's back. The positions of the three people have to be pointed out here. In the cave, on the left side was Big Sister Wei, on the right was Su Luo, and Qing Yi just so happened to be standing right in between Su Luo and Big Sister Wei. Now that Qing Yi was about to take action against Su Luo, her back just so happened to be facing Big Sister Wei. So, Big Sister Wei's smash just so happened to smash right into Qing Yi's back. Qing Yi never imagined that Big Sister Wei would wake up at this moment. She had placed all of her attention on Su Luo, so her back was completely defenseless. Consequently, the pitiful Qing Yi suffered a calamity. Punk! An extremely loud sound rang out. Although Qing Yi managed to dodge at the crucial point, she ultimately could not avoid getting hit by the wooden stick. It really hurts. Before Qing Yi's dagger even touched Su Luo, Big Sister Wei already smashed Qing Yi to the ground. "You actually dare to assassinate my family's little Luo Luo. Eat another hit from my stick." Big Sister Wei lifted up her thick wooden stick and, once again, ruthlessly smashed towards Qing Yi, who was on the floor. If Qing Yi had been trying to assassinate Big Sister Wei, then Big Sister Wei would not be so angry. However, the one Qing Yi tried to assassinate was Su Luo, which could only mean that she was screwed. In Big Sister Wei's heart, Su Luo was someone who gave her food, brought her out to play, and the person who treated her the very best. She definitely would not allow her to be bullied by anyone. Qing Yi never imagined that after barely a few days, Su Luo would be advancing to 6-star, and that even this crazy woman's skills would have improved this much. Comparing it with her skills from a few days ago, this crazy woman's wooden stick couldn't even come near Qing Yi's body, let alone hit her. That was why Qing Yi had lowered her guard this time. Qing Yi gathered her spirits and was preparing to have a contest of skills with Big Sister Wei. Yet when she got a proper look at Big Sister Wei, her eyes opened wide while she cried out, "I'm Pithli. How could it be like this?" Su Luo, advancing 3 stars in a row, was still in the realms of possibility. Just how on earth did this crazy woman manage to ascend to saint rank? Just how? At this moment, Qing Yi was really about to go crazy. She felt she completely didn't recognize this insane world anymore. Chapter 2051. Raised One's Eyebrow. 7. Big Sister Wei looked at Qing Yi with contempt like she was looking at a fool. Without saying a word, Big Sister Wei used her halberd and smashed it at Qing Yi. Qing Yi was so shocked that she wasn't able to dodge the hit in time, getting her right hand hit again. The hand just got reconnected a few days ago. Big Sister Wei directly knocked Qing Yi's hand down with her halberd. Seeing the half-amputated arm falling to the ground, Qing Yi madly shouted and frantically slashed towards Big Sister Wei. "Ah, crazy woman, I'm going to kill you. HMP, you still have a debt to settle with me." Big Sister Wei aimed at Qing Yi's head with her big halberd. Qing Yi retreated to block, but she was back-kicked by Sister Wei, knocking her to the wall with a loud bang. Seeing how Qing Yi got knocked down so badly, all of the devouring rats, who had been sitting on the side and watching the good show, retreated and ran faster than anyone else. Soon, the cave became empty, once again, except for one person, Qing Yi. Qing Yi's back was heavily smashed into the wall. A human-shaped hole was created by the impact, showing how hard Big Sister Wei kicked her. The dust from the cave ceiling was falling down. Big Sister Wei unhappily frowned and stared at Qingyi again. You interrupted little Luo's cultivation. Come with me. Big Sister rushed out of the cave like an arrow while carrying Qingyi, like an eagle catching a little chick. Big Sister Wei completely didn't notice at all, but when she was grabbing Qingyi, she stepped on half of Qingyi's amputated arm and kicked it into a mud puddle. Big Sister Wei naturally didn't hesitate to beat up Qingyi. Only a dull mumbling from Qingyi was heard as she was beaten black and blue by Big Sister Wei. Big Sister Wei was very vengeful. She was beaten up like a broken sack by eldest brother Hua before, and there was no way to get revenge at that time. However, Sister Wei made a note of that in her heart, and Qingyi suddenly brought herself to the door. Consequently, Sister Wei would return the first half of the debt with some interest. The first person who was being beaten up this time was Qingyi. Sister Wei had learned of the attacks from eldest brother Hua before. So now, she slowly returned the same attacks to Qingyi. Originally, Qingyi and Sister Wei's strength were equal. However, Sister Wei just gained an indestructible body and advanced to 2-star of Saint rank. How could Qingyi fight back? Qingyi kept groaning and had no power to resist. A few minutes later, Qingyi got beaten up so much that she was unable to stand up and powerlessly fell to the ground. Qingyi still could not understand till this moment. How? Just a few days ago, they were seriously injured. Now, they have not only recovered, but also advanced so quickly. How? Impossible. Impossible. Qingyi had only one last breath at this time. Her breath was weak, but she still managed to mutter these words of disbelief. Su Luo's figure slowly walked out and saw the pitiful Qingyi laying on the ground. During the last effect of the pill, Su Luo could advance to 7-star. However, her concentration was disturbed, so she could only stay at 6-star for now. It was a pity. Su Luo's figure slowly came out of the cave. Her slender figure crouched down in front of Qingyi. She coldly sneered. Impossible? With this advancing pill. Why is it impossible? The advancing pill can only improve one's strength by 1-star max. It is impossible to raise so much like this. Qingyi coldly stared at Su Luo. Chapter 2052. Raise one's eyebrow. 8. Su Luo sneered. What a low-level mistake. Considering you're about to die, I'll tell you. As long as you refine the poisonous green-eyed devil Taotai inner core with the emperor coagulation pill, you'll be able to form an extremely powerful advancing pill. This advancing pill allows you to jump many stars levels. If you don't believe me, you can use me as a reference. Qingyi's eyes instantly widened. Soon after, a happy expression flashed through her eyes. So, it turned out that an extremely powerful advancing pill could be created just by refining the poisonous green-eyed devil Taotai inner core with the emperor coagulation pill. Really? Are you happy? Do you feel like you found out an enormous secret? Do you want to run to your master like a good kid? Su Luo watched Qingyi with a smile, a mocking laugh flashing in her eyes. The happiness in Qingyi's eyes suddenly died out. She immediately narrowed her eyes. Su Luo told her such an important piece of information. Did this mean Su Luo had already decided to kill her? Qingyi's thick eyelashes drooped down slightly, covering the cold laugh that flashed on her face. How could Su Luo be so stupid? Didn't she know that there was something called a communication amulet in this world? Moreover, she hadn't crushed Qingyi's communication amulet. In Qingyi's sleeve, the communication amulet on her wrist was lit up quickly. She passed on everything that Su Luo said with not a word less to her Mistura. The third elder. It was only when she finished passing on the message that Su Luo finally noticed this action of hers. You actually dare to use a communication amulet? Quickly, kill her! Su Luo shouted angrily. Elder Sister Wei had already been waiting for this line for a long time. The moment Su Luo finished speaking, Elder Sister Wei's halberd smashed down. Qingyi was hit so hard that she immediately stopped breathing. Seeing the communication amulet that shattered as Qingyi died, Su Luo's mouth hooked up into a grin. The poisonous green-eyed devil Taotai inner core with the addition of the emperor coagulation pill. Old woman, go ahead and try it. See how many family properties you would lose. It must be said that Su Luo was truly black-bellied. She lured Qingyi into a trap when she was about to die, and even managed to drag in the third elder, who was far off in the distant purgatory city. After wrapping up their things, Su Luo left with elder sister Wei. When they were refining the pills, Su Luo had only managed to refine one complete pill, while the refining for elder sister Wei's pill was only half successful. As for the rest of the pills, Su Luo managed to refine them somewhat, but the refining wasn't very successful. However, the pills were still somewhat useful, so Su Luo divided the scraps among her spirit pets, wishing they would also be lucky enough to advance. Now, Su Luo was already a 6-star commander, while elder sister Wei was a 2-star saint. The little guys inside Su Luo's space kept exuding spiritual qi. It was clear that they also benefited quite a lot from the pills. With these hidden trump cards, Su Luo naturally raised her eyebrows and exhaled. Let's go. Off to find that eldest brother Hua. The corners of Su Luo's mouth raised into a sneer. Su Luo would forever be unable to forget the scene when she almost died. If she didn't seek revenge for that, it would become a thorn in her heart in her journey to become strong. Sooner or later, it would cause problems for her. Su Luo's luck was truly good. They hadn't walked for long before they encountered a group of people. Su Luo had even met this group of people before, so she recognized them with one glance. They were eldest brother Hua subordinates. When fifth brother Hua saw Su Luo, his eyes suddenly lit up. He shouted loudly, "Here! The winch is here!" Their boss had told them that whoever finds the winch would receive 200,000 points. These were points of the poisonous green-eyed devil Taotai. Fifth brother Hua had been excited for a very long time. So, when he saw Su Luo, what he saw was actually the glimmering 200,000 points. Chapter 2053, Magnificent Counterattack 1. Eldest brother Hua was not alone. He brought a few people with him. Also, knowing that Su Luo and sister Wei were seriously injured, eldest brother Hua expected that his men would be able to defeat Su Luo's group. Eldest brother Hua consequently dispersed all of his men and asked them to follow the devouring rats. Coincidentally, fifth brother Hua was searching in this direction. He was about to take a short break but met the target here instead. So, he was naturally excited. However, his excitement didn't last very long. He quickly became dumbfounded as he rubbed his own eyes. Weren't that wench girl and crazy woman seriously injured and just waited for a beating? Who were these two healthy women now? Hua Bo's men? Su Luo firmly stood in front of him with a cold sneer in her eyes. "It's me, your grandpa." Fifth brother Hua raised his eyebrows while folding his hands around his chest. "How is it? Are you afraid?" "I'm very scared, Big Sister Wei strode up while carrying a halberd. Seeing Big Sister Wei's aggressive action, fifth brother Hua became a little afraid. However, after thinking of Su Luo's pitiful defeat, he regained confidence and coldly sneered. "What do you want? You haven't already forgotten my eldest brother, have you? If you dared to kill me, my eldest brother would never let you go." He couldn't even finish the last word, and he would never have another chance to finish it again, because Big Sister Wei's big halberd had already hit his forehead without any hesitation, making his brain explode. Fifth brother Hua couldn't close his eyes until he died. His eyes blankly stared at Big Sister Wei, seemingly questioning. "How dare you?" Big Sister Wei obviously dared to do so, even if these ignorant idiots were fearless. But when Su Luo just gave a word, Big Sister Wei would even dare to carry her big halberd to smash the third elder's bright moon palace and third elder herself. How could a little fifth brother Hua be difficult to deal with? Fifth brother Hua didn't come alone. He brought several men with him. When these men saw how Big Sister Wei smashed fifth brother Hua's head, they were scared witlessly and paled with cold sweat as they looked at each other. Their first reaction was not to beg for mercy, but to escape. Whoosh! 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 They knew that their only hope now was to report to eldest brother Hua. From their perspectives, only eldest brother Hua could kill these two women easily. However, no matter how fast they ran, how could they escape from Su Luo's nothingness of space? After Su Luo advanced, her strength skyrocketed. However, she didn't have a chance to test her new strength yet, which made her feel itchy. Seeing the Hua Bo's men were running away, she coldly smiled. Her slender arm waved, and the nothingness of space suddenly appeared, wrapping everyone inside. These men were completely surrounded in her space. They only could feel that the gravity around them had doubled and their speed had significantly dropped. What happened? A huge question mark seemingly appeared on their heads. At this moment, Sister Wei was ready with her big halberd. She unconsciously exerted too much strength into her attack before and instantly killed fifth brother Hua. She was not feeling satisfied from beating people up yet. These people wanted to run away now. Big Sister Wei angrily raised her big halberd and smashed towards the men. How could these young men resist Big Sister Wei's attack? At first, they did want to resist. However, with Big Sister Wei's quick and indiscriminate attacks, they quickly submitted. They crouched on the ground, one by one, with their hands protecting their heads and surrounded a 1,000-years-old tree root as they obediently received the beating. After a while, Big Sister finally stopped after satisfying herself. She glanced at the trembling young men with contempt and coldly snorted. "So let's just kill them all?" Chapter 2054, Magnificent Counterattack 2. Su Luo raised her clear and cold eyes as the corner of her lips hooked up into a twisted smile. "It's not good to kill so many people. Why should we dirty our hands, cripple their cultivation, and let them live and die by their own means?" Naturally, Big Sister Wei just followed along with whatever Su Luo wanted. Hearing Su Luo's words, she quickly moved and crippled them all. Although these people aren't listed under the top 300 of the Dragon list, they still had relied on their skills to pass the exam into the Genius Training Camp. Yet, now they were as weak as chickens. They were completely unable to struggle against Big Sister Wei's grip and could only be pitifully crippled of their cultivation. At this moment, Su Luo knew very clearly just how true the words, "Only the strong are respected," were in this world. "Let's go." Seeing the people who were lying on the ground with seemingly only a breath of life left, Su Luo left with Big Sister Wei without looking back. She knew that if these few people had been stronger than them, the opposing party would have killed them on the spot without any hesitation. What she had done was merely just a tit for a tat. In any case, she didn't even let Big Sister Wei kill them. If these people were truly not fated to die here, then they would still be able to crawl out from this demonic beast area, even though they've had their cultivation crippled. This time, eldest brother Hua had truly put in a lot of effort into trying to kill Su Luo. The whole way here, Su Luo had encountered wave after wave of people. These people were certainly all eldest brother Hua's men. However, now, Su Luo's and Big Sister Wei's strength had increased greatly. Then, just when Su Luo's group wanted to raise their eyebrows and blow off some steam, these people were sent right onto them. The timing is uncanny. Consequently, before they even encountered eldest brother Hua, Su Luo had already wiped out his men, one by one. This continued until Su Luo finally met eldest brother Hua. Eldest brother Hua was in a horrible mood today. This was because his men had unexpectedly disappeared in succession. Thus, he couldn't get in contact with them no matter how much he tried. Just when he was feeling fretful and uneasy, Su Luo appeared. She had even brought along Big Sister Wei with her. Seeing Su Luo, eldest brother Hua's originally fretful and gloomy mood was instantly swept blank. He was suddenly in glowing spirits with bright and shiny eyes. "Wench, so it turns out you're here. Ha ha ha. Truly, there are roads to the heavens, yet you don't walk them. There are no doors to hell, yet you just had a charge in here." Eldest brother Hua placed both his hands on his hips as he laughed his head off. He had assembled a great number of his men to enter the outer magical beast zone to help him search for Su Luo. Now, all that effort had not gone to waste. "You've been searching for me all this time?" Su Luo smiled weakly with her clear eyes. Her red lips curved up a little. "Of course. In order to find you, I expended a lot of manpower and resources. These will all be repaid with your death. Wench, you still have time to say your last words. So tell them quickly." The eyebrows of Su Luo's innocent eyes lifted slightly. "Find me? For what reason did you do this? Don't you know that I want to go train at the Tower of Trials at the end of the month? If you just guard the only way out, then you'll definitely be able to meet me. Yet you specially assembled men to come look for me? Did your intelligence leave your brain?" After Su Luo pointed out these things, eldest brother Hua suddenly looked like he got struck by lightning and was momentarily stunned. Su Luo truly did not speak falsely. As long as he guarded the only exit point, he would be able to keep a watch out for her regardless. It was much more efficient than searching for her in the outer magical beast zone, which was like fishing up a needle from the vast ocean. Eldest brother Hua really wanted to charge at his men and scold them, but when he saw Su Luo's pair of mocking eyes, he immediately snapped out of it. He smiled darkly at Su Luo. Regardless of the process, everything worked out as long as the result is achieved. "Wrench, hurry up and die." Chapter 2055. Magnificent Counterattack 3. Su Luo didn't answer and just casually raised her eyebrows. "Your men haven't returned yet?" Eldest brother Hua was unable to respond for a few seconds, but he soon recovered and intensively glared at Su Luo. "Is it you?" Eldest brother Hua had already guessed the possibility that his men died under Su Luo's hands. It wasn't until this moment when he focused his attention to Su Luo's group that he was momentarily shocked by what he had found. Su Luo was such a weak girl whom he could slightly slap to death a few days ago. However, Su Luo's strength had improved so quickly. And that crazy woman, she advanced to 2-star saint rank. That's right. They must have gotten some treasures from that black-clothed man who took them away. Thinking of this, eldest brother Hua hated the black-clothed man. Now, he was more determined to kill Su Luo. This one had improved so much within just a few days. Imagine how much she would grow in a year. He should never let her grow more and become a threat in the future. Su Luo, who was originally regarded as an ant by the eldest brother Hua, now had given him a deep sense of fear and vigilance. No longer talking nonsense, eldest brother Hua directly shot towards Su Luo. Big sister Wei was about to rush up, but Su Luo winked at her. "I can hold him off for a while here. You go deal with those men first." As soon as her words rang out, Su Luo flew up to avoid eldest brother Hua's attack. Big sister Wei glanced at the battle. Then, she turned to run towards those young men. Eldest brother Hua hadn't brought many men with him. It seemed he had gathered all what was left of his group. Many of eldest brother Hua's men were secretly dealt with by Su Luo and Big Sister Wei. But even if Big Sister Wei had swept away one group, there were still dozens of people left. Kill! 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 Big Sister didn't hesitate at all, rushing up with her hand carrying a halberd and tightly waved it. Big Sister Wei was now ascended to saint rank and gained an indestructible body. Her unrivaled power and invincibly gained the upper hand in the battle. You could only see her fast figure rushing into the battle, like a gust of wind in a bloody rain. Those young men were originally amused by Big Sister Wei's action as she rushed alone in battle. How idiotic! Didn't she know what it meant to fight with 2 fists and 4 legs? However, they obviously celebrated too early. Wherever Big Sister Wei had gone through was like a devil savaging a village. At the beginning, Big Sister Wei was surrounded by many people. However, even if there were many people around her, only 7 or 8 people could directly approach her. Furthermore, these 7 or 8 people coincidentally were within the scope of Sister Wei. Boom! The sound of the weapons was evident. If Su Luo saw how Big Sister Wei fought right now, she would probably facepalm and silently sigh to the sky. The battle looked like the whack-a-mole game that Su Luo used to see in modern times. Whenever she saw a person, she smashed one with her halberd. The sound dong dong, dong loudly sounded. How could these young men be Big Sister Way's opponents? She just smashed, and smashed them one by one. After about 8 smashes, the young men in the front line started to automatically retreat, assuming others from the back would be brave enough to jump in the front. Unfortunately, they followed the footsteps of those men in the front. When there were only 6 men left, their eyes finally displayed a trace of horror. Chapter 2056, Magnificent Counterattack. For, although their eldest brother Hua was very powerful, and they firmly believed that their eldest brother would come save them once he had freed up his hands. Right now, this madwoman was simply going berserk. She was smashing heads like she was hitting watermelons. The heads of the youngsters split open, and blood went splashing everywhere, including onto her face. She even extended her tongue and licked it like it was very delicious. The young men were simply terrified. For the sake of their own lives, they glanced at each other and then noisily ran in all directions. Run, run, run. If they didn't run, they're screwed. However, Big Sister Wei so happened to raise her head at this time. Was there any chance that she would let them escape? You dare to run? Eat another hit. The halberd held by Big Sister Wei left her hand and went straight towards the head of the person in front of her. As the halberd flew over, this person's neck turned to mush. The large fist of Big Sister Wei, who was chasing them from behind, had come smashing down from the top of his head. Thus, this small fry was officially declared dead. However, the fact that the small fry had run in all sorts of directions was making it really troublesome for Big Sister Wei, who was pursuing them. While Big Sister Wei was running all over the place to hunt them down, Su Luo was also straining herself somewhat against her opponent. Although she had ascended quickly, she was still only a commander rank. Compared to eldest brother Hua, there was a difference of exactly 1 rank, a difference of exactly 7 stars. Even though Su Luo had all sorts of hidden trump cards, it was simply impossible if she wanted to win against him. Su Luo retreated as she fought. Eldest brother Hua pushed closer step by step. Wench, I never imagined that after a few days, your skills would actually improve this quickly. Eldest brother Hua's appearance was sinister as he shouted fiercely. Su Luo was being beaten so badly that she was hiding everywhere she could, yet she still managed to laugh coldly again and again. Don't tell me you don't know that the poisonous green-eyed devil Taotai, inner core, can be refined into an advancing pill. Eldest brother Hua's eyes darkened. What are you talking about? Su Luo was somewhat baffled. Don't tell me you don't know? How can the poisonous green-eyed devil Taotai, inner core, be refined into an advancing pill? Moreover, with such a good effect? Eldest brother Hua practically blew his top. If he had known this earlier, he would have stolen the pill long ago. What chance was there that he would have let Su Luo have it? Su Luo was suddenly strangely baffled. You actually don't know? Then why do you want that inner core for? Wench, you don't know? The poisonous green-eyed devil Taotai, inner core, can be used to smelt. Saying up to here, eldest brother Hua suddenly realized something was wrong and immediately went silent. Then he sneered. Wench, you're trying to fish through my words? Forget it. Su Luo's eyes lit up brightly at this moment. The poisonous green-eyed devil Taotai, inner core, can be used to smelt. Smelt what? Although eldest brother Hua didn't say the rest of the sentence, Su Luo could more or less figure it out somewhat. Ha! She never imagined that aside from using it to refine into an advancing pill, the poisonous green-eyed devil Taotai, inner core, also had this sort of usage. It truly was a buy one, get one free. If eldest brother Hua hadn't mentioned it, she really wouldn't have known. When eldest brother Hua saw Su Luo's complacent appearance, he nearly spat out a mouthful of blood. Why did he have to talk so much crap? He should have just let the wench think that it only had the use of becoming an advancing pill. Thinking this, eldest brother Hua got even angrier with Su Luo and really wanted to tear her into pieces. Eldest brother Hua looked around. This one look caused his pulse to speed up immediately. All of his men had unexpectedly been eliminated. Every one of them laid on the ground badly mangled or mutilated. It was unknown whether they would live or die. How vile! Eldest brother got so angry that he almost stomped his foot. He pointed at Su Luo and roared furiously, "Wench, your time of death has arrived. Die!" The moment he had finished talking, he had thrusted his palm towards Su Luo. Eldest brother Hua was so angry that it was like he had already died and reincarnated. With an ashen complexion, he put forth 120% of his power. Chapter 2057. Magnificent Counterattack 5. Su Luo's eyes narrowed slightly and a dullness appeared in her eyes. Although she almost suffocated due to the explosion, she was still casually laughing. "Want to kill me? Not so easy. If you have the ability, then come and catch me." After saying that, Su Luo sprinted towards the bushes in front of her, just like an arrow. Eldest brother Hua was so angry that he was loudly screaming. A few days ago, he could have easily knocked her away with one move, but now he could hardly catch up to her, and this awfully hurt his pride. After a while, eldest brother Hua became furious and irrational. His eyes were bulging as they turned bloodshot red. Consequently, he was pouring all his hatred on Su Luo. At that moment, there was only a slender figure in his eyes. Chase! 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 Eldest brother Hua was madly chasing after Su Luo. In a dense bush nearby, Su Luo's eyes were slightly narrowed. A trace of light quickly flashed in her eyes as she saw a blue skirt coming up. There was no doubt that Big Sister Wei was going to ambush there. After all, Su Luo had carefully calculated this plan for a long time. Su Luo first asked Big Sister Wei to hunt down those young men in order to let Big Sister Wei hide her presence from eldest brother Hua. Then, she would wait for Su Luo to make him angry and chase after her. Su Luo also had another goal to make him irrational and unable to concentrate. As Su Luo's slender figure quickly shuttled through the bushes with eldest brother Hua following her tracks, a dark shadow hand suddenly slammed into his head. That was near Sister Wei's lurking place. At that moment, eldest brother Hua's mind and attention were fully on Su Luo. How could he have noticed Big Sister Wei hiding in the bushes? How could he know that Big Sister Wei had been waiting there for a long time? Consequently, eldest brother Hua faced grave danger. Boom! An extremely clear yet muffled sound rang out. Eldest brother Hua's head collided with Sister Wei's big halberd. He was only feeling a bit dizzy from the impact, but seeing a shadow appear in front of him, he moved slightly. The difference between experts was minimal when they exchanged blows. So, it only took a few seconds for eldest brother Hua to recover his senses. Su Luo, who had been leaping from one bush to another, suddenly raised her legs and attacked his head. At that moment, Su Luo released 49 moves aiming towards his head. Although her attacks didn't have much of an effect, Su Luo especially chose to attack on his head with 49 consecutive strikes, each stronger than the previous strike. Dripping water penetrates the stone. Therefore, when Su Luo's last strike landed, eldest brother Hua's body was violently swaying back. Right at that moment, Big Sister Wei's big halberd strongly slashed at his knees. Boom! With Big Sister Wei's attack landing, just like the last straw that broke the camel's back, eldest brother Hua got knocked back and flew to the ground. All of these movements may take a long time to describe, but it all happened within a second. Eldest brother Hua was knocked to the ground such that all 4 of his limbs were standing up as he landed. After that, Su Luo and Big Sister Wei began attacking again. Big Sister Wei's halberd, Su Luo's fire attacks, Little Red Lotus, Nothingness of Space. All of their trump cards, skills, and attacks were aiming at eldest brother Hua's head. Pitiful eldest brother Hua was making one wrong move after another, and he had lost the opportunity to attack, so he could only resist the barrage of attacks coming towards him. The injuries on his body were getting heavier over time, and he was continuously spitting out mouthfuls of blood. Chapter 2058. Magnificent Counterattack 6. If only 1 or 2 of eldest brother Hua's men could appear at this time to hold down Su Luo and Big Sister Wei, for just a little bit of time, he could reverse the situation. However, very unfortunately, all of his men had already been beaten to death by Su Luo and Big Sister Wei. Eldest brother Hua was seriously injured. He also knew that his current self only had one road left, and that led to death. Aside from that, there was no other road for him to take. His eyes bulged out violently with a fierce expression as he glared at Su Luo and raged. "Don't get ahead of yourselves. You all will accompany me to death." Su Luo suddenly got a very ominous feeling. She yelled at Big Sister Wei, "Retreat quickly." Big Sister Wei's halberd had only hit halfway, so she was somewhat confused for a moment and was unable to understand why Su Luo was telling her to withdraw. However, at this instant, they were already running out of time. There was no time to explain, so Su Luo firmly grasped Big Sister Wei with one hand. She pulled her along and ran. Despite that, they were ultimately still one step too late. Boom! A violent explosion rang out. Violent flames suddenly soared into the sky. The earth quaked as the mountains shook. It was a world-shaking event. The surrounding trees were instantly burned into ashes. The rocks on the mountain shattered into small bits, rolling down the mountain in an unending stream. No living creature would be able to live inside this 10 li of area ever again. The originally verdant and lush vegetation at the battleground had instantly become pitch black, scorched earth. At the critical moment, Su Luo had pulled Big Sister Wei forward in an explosive rush before getting thrown further forward by a wave of flames, and then falling heavily onto the ground. Quite a long time passed by. Cough, cough. Cough, cough. Su Luo, who had been knocked out by the vibrations from the intense explosion, slowly regained her consciousness at this moment. Upon waking up, she saw Big Sister Wei, who was sprawled on the ground by her back. Big Sister Wei had already passed out. Big Sister Wei's body was scorched black like that of clay. Her face, hands, and clothes were all pitch black. It was almost impossible to tell that this was actually a person. Su Luo wiped her own face. Then when she saw her own palm, she laughed bitterly. It turned out that she was just like Elder Sister Wei. They had both turned into black people. It was all caused by the explosion. Thinking of the explosion from before, Su Luo still felt a lingering fear in her heart. As expected, experts of above the saint rank could not be underestimated. Before eldest brother Hua died, he used his entire body's spiritual strength to explode his body. This sort of formidable power was comparable to that of a saint rank spirit pinball. However, only extreme hatred could allow someone to do something like blowing oneself up, because this meant the soul and physical body would die at the same time. It was a true death. One would not be able to even enter the spirit realm. Looking at the passed-out Big Sister Wei and her badly mangled back, an expression of guilt flashed past Su Luo's eyes. When they were thrown forth by the wave of fire, Big Sister Wei used her back to block the fire and protected Su Luo with her body. Otherwise, Su Luo would have been seriously injured. However, Big Sister Wei fortunately already had an immortal body. With an extremely strong defensive capability, she was essentially the legendary meat shield. So, even though her wounds looked very serious, they would be able to heal very quickly with Su Luo's treatments. On the other hand, Su Luo, eldest brother Hua's final grudges were all directed at her. So that time when that white light shone toward her, it actually had a very negative effect on her soul. Su Luo sat cross-legged and entered a meditative state. She looked at her soul. Her soul, which had originally been jumping up and down in a lively manner, was now withdrawn in a corner, seemingly on her last gasp as she breathed weakly. This was a big problem. She didn't even know if her soul could be mended. At least, she had never heard of such a thing. Chapter 2059, Magnificent Counterattack 7. With Su Luo's blood, pills, and the immortal body's extremely strong hidden strength, the wound on Big Sister Wei's back quickly formed a scab. Big Sister Wei, who had been knocked out by the vibrations, woke up slowly. The moment she awoke, she saw Su Luo sitting before her and immediately displayed a panicked expression. This was because Su Luo's face was deathly pale. Additionally, her small face, which was only as big as a hand, was dripping wet with cold sweat as her body was on the verge of collapse. "Little Luo, what's wrong with you? Are you sick? Is it very painful?" Seeing Su Luo like this, Big Sister Wei hurriedly rushed towards Su Luo and forcefully shook Su Luo's slender body, afraid that she would not wake up again once she fell asleep. Due to Big Sister Wei's powerful shaking, Su Luo's very petite frame was like a small boat out at sea with the risk of getting submerged at any time. Su Luo had no choice but to open her eyes. Seeing Su Luo wake up, it immediately turned Big Sister Wei's grief into happiness. She broke into an exceedingly brilliant smile, revealing 6 sparkling snow-white teeth. "Little Luo, you're finally awake. You scared me to death." "I'm fine." Su Luo's voice was weak, and her complexion was an unnatural shade of white. It was really a heart-aching sight. "But you look like you're in a lot of pain. Are you injured?" Big Sister Wei looked at Su Luo concernedly and reached out her hand to pat Su Luo's head like she was patting a little animal, rubbing gently. "Don't worry, I won't die." Su Luo rubbed her chest. Her soul was injured, but at least there was no risk of losing her life. She needed time to recover completely. However, it was already almost at the end of the month, and this month's exam would start soon. It seemed that she could only give up on the exam this time and wait for her body to completely recover first. Then right at this time, Su Luo felt the communication amulet move slightly. Could it be that Nangong responded? Su Luo was so excited that she almost jumped up, but this movement made her so dizzy that her vision blurred and almost fainted. With great difficulty, she managed to calm her mind. Then, she very carefully pulled out the black communication amulet. With hopeful anticipation, she opened it slowly. However, Nangong's name was still gray like before. It was not a message from him. Su Luo's mood immediately fell from the heavens and into hell. Feeling extremely disappointed, she stared unhappily at the black communication amulet like she was gazing at Nangong, glaring at him hatefully. "Sooner or later, I'll throw you away," Su Luo scoffed before carefully keeping the black communication amulet, hiding it close to her skin as she was afraid of shattering it. Separated by a layer of thin cloth, the black communication amulet seemed to carry the temperature of Nangong's hand. This let Su Luo feel like Nangong was always by her side. Soon after, Su Luo finally cast her gaze toward her right wrist where a green communication amulet sat. This green communication amulet had been given to her by Luo Yichen. There was only one contact person on it, and that was Luo Yichen. Could it be that he had sent her a message? Su Luo calmly opened the communication amulet and swept a glance over the message that was on it. As expected, it was from Luo Yichen. He told her that he was in secluded cultivation previously, so he didn't receive her message. Then he asked what the matter was. What was the matter? The corners of Su Luo's lips raised into a moody sneer. She recalled that time when eldest brother Hua was trying to kill her, chasing her everywhere to the extent that she had nowhere to escape to, not even the heavens or hell. She had indeed at the critical moment sent a message to Luo Yichen asking for help, but quite a few days had already passed since then. What could be the matter now? Eldest brother Hua had already exploded and dissipated into smoke. Su Luo smiled apathetically and replied soon after with one word: nothing. The moment Su Luo was preparing to turn off the green communication amulet, a message was quickly sent over. Chapter 2060. Magnificent Counterattack. 8. Seeing the message, Su Luo frowned slightly. Luo Yichen told her that if any freshman could pass through the Purgatory Tower of Trials at the end of the first month, there would be special rewards. A communication amulet is one of those. Su Luo originally planned to temporarily give up this assessment. However, after seeing the reward, she suddenly frowned. When she was staying in her own villa in Downstream Mountain, she wanted to find a green communication amulet to communicate with Ziyin and the others while browsing the optical tablet. However, she then found out that a communication amulet was not for sale. It was instead a reward given out by participating in the official mission. The official missions were given out randomly. Just like now, the Mission Reward Communication Amulet was released for the freshman assessment, as if it was tailor-made for Su Luo. Consequently, Su Luo had to participate in this assessment. Su Luo couldn't miss this opportunity, as even if she participated and passed the next assessment, the reward might not be a communication amulet. What's today's date? Su Luo sent another message to Luo Yichen. At this time, Luo Yichen was fighting on a battle platform in the Tower of Trials. There was a small group of people surrounding him. These people were all in the top 20 of the dragon list. Luo Yichen was fighting them while sending messages to Su Luo. 24. Luo Yichen replied to Su Luo's message after knocking a person away. On the 24th, within the outer magical beast zone, Su Luo supported her chin with one hand. Her eyes darkened gradually as her delicate eyebrows twisted in a sad frown. Compared to Su Luo's worries, Big Sister Wei was very relaxed and carefree. Looking at how Big Sister Wei was happily catching little magical beasts, skinning the beasts, and then begging the little sable to grill the meat with a fawning expression. Little Luo, when will we go back? Big Sister Wei sat down next to Su Luo while eating her greasy chicken legs. Why do you look unhappy? Today is the 24th, and the assessment starts on the 25th. Su Luo looked at Big Sister Wei with a sullen expression. We can't go back at all. We can't join the freshman assessment. Why are we happy? If Su Luo's body was in good condition, she might be able to fly back with all of her strength. However, her soul was injured now. She would constantly need to replenish her spiritual energy. How could she rush back quickly? Big Sister Wei finished eating her chicken wings and said, If you can't run back, you can fly back. Do you think you have wings? Su Luo sadly sighed. Su Luo believed that this zone must have been transformed by the master of Purgatory City, as the gravity here was several times stronger than on the mainland. She could easily fly on the mainland, but in Purgatory City, especially in the Genius Training Camp, it was very difficult to fly. Big Sister Wei casually answered, I obviously don't have wings, but am I not eating the wings? These words immediately made Su Luo's eyes brighten. Su Luo tilted her hand and stared at Big Sister Wei. Big Sister Wei was shocked by Su Luo's gaze that she tightly clutched the chicken wings and ate them in 2 mouthfuls. With her mouth was full, she still tried to speak while spreading her hands out. It's gone. I ate them all. Su Luo couldn't help but laugh at how Big Sister Wei protected her food. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.